Hi everyone, my name is Leila and today I'm going to continue talking about the spring fragrances. In my last video I was talking about the designer spring fragrances. Today I'm going to talk about the niche ones. I always like to start with the classical fragrances, and today I'll also start with the one. So here we go. This one is from Amouage and this is Dia. To me, this is a perfect spring classical fragrance. For those who like florals, who like powder, cold aldehydes, who likes this timeless, old school vibes probably. This fragrance is very versatile to my nose. It's very classy. It smells very expensive, and at the same time it definitely reminds me of spring. It has some vibes of the melting snow because of the aldehydes. It's very airy, fresh. Yes, it's from the same family as a Chanel No. 5, but at the same time I find it more modern, more wearable, lighter, fresher, more transparent. You can breathe in this fragrance. So it's beautiful, very long lasting, being a fresh and spring type of fragrance. At the same time, it's very long lasting. You don't even need to refresh it during the day. If you're looking for something like that for every day, I think that would be a perfect solution. Just try this one. Another fragrance from Amouage that I also find very beautiful, that also gives me the spring vibes, is Amouage Lyric Man. I know that many women prefer the men's version, and this one is very fresh. That differs it from the women's one. The women's one is probably more old school type of rose fragrance, but this one is very modern, very I would say it's very stylish. It's very unique. It's very different type of rose. It's not the rose that I'm used to. It's not the rose that I have in my different fragrances. It's very different rose, very unique one. To me, this is a rose, a wild rose. It's not the garden rose that we grow in our gardens. It's a wild red rose. And if you could make a tea or probably a bit bitter and sour wine out of this wild rose with the addition of some citruses, but not the skin, the zesty skin. No, I think it's more the flesh of the citruses, together with some greenness, but again, not the typical green grass notes. It's angelica, I think. It's galbanum, I think. It's something a little bit bitter. Then if you mix this all together and you make such a wine, it will be the Amouage Lyric Man. Beautiful, gorgeous fragrance. The only problem that I have with it is the longevity. Yes, this is Amouage and this is made in Oman, but I think that's a problem with the batch. This particular batch, I bought this last year in 2020, and I assume this is a new batch. And the longevity is probably average on skin. On my skin especially, it doesn't last at all. And I know that if you look in the Fragrantica, you will see that the bar that says about the lasting power of fragrances for the Lyric Man is very last one, which shows that this is like a monster type of longevity. But again, I think it's a problem with my batch in particular, because when I started to see people's comments below, I realized that I'm not alone who complains about the longevity of this fragrance, and people say that the new batches are not that good, are not that long lasting, so bear that in mind. Otherwise the fragrance is just amazing. And another rose fragrance, but this one is probably the more typical rose, and it's more feminine. The previous one is absolutely unisex to me, like Lyric Man. I can easily imagine it on man as well, of course, because it's intended to be for man. But this one is, I think, mostly for women, for very young ones. And this is Merchant of Venice, and it's Rosa Moseniga. It's a very beautiful bottle made of Murano glass with a nice tassel. And this type of rose is also very fresh. It's also green, but it's also a bit sweet, because you can notice there is a vanilla there, there is an amber there. But vanilla here is not, it's not overly sweet. It's not like jammy type of rose. No, it's being very fresh at the same time. It's naturally sweet, and I like the sweetness in this rose. I wouldn't say it's very unique. Again, the sweet rose is quite common. I can say that I can smell the same type of rose in the Elie Parfums de Marly. It's also sweet rose in sweet and sour, I would say. It's also in Nina Rich's, I think, it's called, this is in a pink, light pink bottle. It's also very, very sweet. Being freshy, it's also sweet. And this one also, it's fresh, but at the same time it's sweet. It is pricey, of course, if you buy it offline, but online I managed to find this one for $45 here on Amazon.ae. I think this is an old bottle probably, and this is a small bottle. It's only 50 ml. That's why I managed to find such a good price. The only problem of this fragrance is the longevity. The longevity here is even maybe average, or maybe even less than average, because it doesn't last on my skin at all, and probably 3 to 4 hours on my clothes. But for this price, I think this is good, still very good, and I enjoy it because I use it quite a lot. You see, it's quite a new fragrance, and I used visible amount of the fragrance. Another one that I newly purchased in a discount in the Amazon AE, and also I paid only $45 for this one, but this is very beautiful fragrance that I really liked, and I think it's perfect for springtime. This is Lorenzo Villoresi, and the fragrance is Musk. It's just called Musk. A beautiful bottle, and the fragrance itself is also very beautiful. The musk here is very clean, and it's at the same time a bit green. It's very fresh, it's very rosy. Like, it's a very beautiful and timeless combination of rose and musk, but it's not cloying, it's not heavy, it's not thick. It's very airy, fresh, citrusy, but at the same time it has a touch probably of old school vibes in the beginning. It smells very expensive to me. It smells classy, it smells very beautiful, and I think this is absolutely unisex type of fragrance that I can easily imagine on both men and women. I know this is the signature scent of Brad Pitt, and I heard that once he came to Firenze to buy the whole big pack of this ones, because he loves it and he uses it a lot. The longevity of this fragrance is quite good. It doesn't last on my skin probably it doesn't last more than 3 to 4 hours, but on the clothes it lasts. And again, a beautiful one, high quality. I highly recommend it. You find it for the good price. Highly recommend to try it. Another one that I just love, and this is the private line. So this is not a niche, this is a private line of the designer's brand Elie Saab, and this is Elie Saab Essence number 2 Gardenia. I think it's Essence number 2, yes, Gardenia. And this is a very beautiful spring gardenia. It's not too heavy, it's not cloying, it's not, again, too sweet and sticky sweet, sickly sweet, not at all. It is quite fresh and airy, but at the same time quite intensive type of gardenia. It's creamy, definitely, but at the same time it's green. It's green and fresh and creamy at the same time. It definitely takes you to spring. It definitely reminds you of the blooming trees and bushes. It's beautiful. It is quite linear because the whole fragrance is about gardenia, and whatever you can see, you can smell in this fragrance is mostly gardenia. Of course, it's devoted to gardenia, and but it's very beautifully done, and the quality is there, the longevity is there. It has a huge and beautiful trail. It's one of the, I think, biggest trail living fragrance that I have in my collection. Very nice, very beautiful, high quality, but unfortunately discontinued, but it's still available online and you can still find it for a reasonable price. And it's also a lasting fragrance. It lasts for quite a long time, especially on clothes. Until you wash it, it lasts. Another beautiful white flower type of scent and fragrance is from Dear Rose. Now I think the brand was renamed to Roos and Roos. I have an old bottle and it says Dear Rose here, and this is Nimphessence. The name of the fragrance is Nimphessence. It's also a very beautiful, fresh and airy. It's also a very fresh and airy bouquet of white flowers. There is magnolia there, I think, probably jasmine. I definitely can smell some fruity notes also, like pear. It definitely has some sweetness to it, but very delicate sweetness, not cloying one. It's also very watery in terms of, it's still intensive. By the way, this is also one of the very intensive and long-lasting fresh fragrances, fresh flowery fragrances that I have. But at the same time, it gives you the feeling that you've just dived in the water that was filled with the buds of white flowers. It's very beautiful, refreshing, extremely feminine, I would say. But at the same time, it doesn't add you age. It's a useful type of fragrance. This fragrance is quite similar to Donna by Trussardi, which is, by the way, is a huge compliment getter, but it doesn't last long. This one is like a niche type of Donna, and it lasts longer. Probably Donna is more creamy. This one is more transparent, airy and cold. Probably that's why it reminds me of some cold water with white flowers. Beautiful fragrance. If you can find it again in the old formula, in the old bottle, because I think it lasts longer in the old formula also. I highly recommend to try this one. Another fragrance that I like to wear during the spring is Tom Ford's White Patchouli. It's a fragrance of 2008, and I remember when I smelled it at that time, and I fell in love with that on 2008. But at that time I wasn't that much into fragrances, so I didn't buy the full bottle. And nowadays, when I saw it for a good price, I decided to go ahead because I love patchouli, I love rose, I love peonies, and this is a beautiful combination of very clean, not piercing, not pungent, not loud patchouli, not earthy or dirty type of patchouli. It's very clean, crisp, very beautifully done. Patchouli that is different again from what I have in my other fragrances. Let's say I have another type of patchouli like in Terry Mugler's Angel or in Reminiscence patchouli elixir. Those are different type of patchoulis, or even patchouli in Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel is also a bit piercing and quite prominent and pungent, but this one is different. It's very clean and crisp type of patchouli. I can see this on a very self-confident lady who wears white shirt or white formal suit, and it smells expensive. Yes, it has also an old school vibes, just a little bit, just a touch, but I like it. I like it about that. It makes this fragrance a bit serious and classy, so highly recommend. This is also old formulation. It lasts long on my skin and clothes, of course. It's a very beautiful fragrance. I just love it. Another white bottle, the fragrance that I cannot leave without anymore, it's from Parfums de Marly, and this is Sedbury. I had the very strange relationship with this fragrance, from hate to love, because when I ordered the sample of Sedbury, when I received it, it was a summertime. The weather outside was about 50 degrees Celsius, I guess. It was boiling. And when I tried it, after receiving this sample straight away, when I received it, I hated it because all I could hear was a very loud, screaming, pungent tuberose. I just, put it in the samples box and decided I will never ever buy anything like this. But after 2 months, after the fragrance settled, it completely changed, dramatically changed. And now I know why. I know because the fragrances, I noticed it from my own experience. The fragrances that are packed with the naturals, with the natural essential oils, if they are exposed to the temperature change and shaking, they completely change. They become so ugly, and they definitely need time to settle. And after they settle, they change dramatically. They become those gorgeous and magical juices that they were, intended to be. So this happened to Sedbury as well. And I just, after 2 months after I tried it, I just fell in love with it. And this is a very, very beautiful floral chypre. It's all about tuberose, I think other probably white flowers, but what mostly I can recognize in this fragrance is a tuberose. But this is not a very sharp and wild tuberose. It's quite soft because it's softened by the iris. It's powdery tuberose. It has oak moss somewhere in the base, and this is beautifully done. Yes, again, I have to admit that this fragrance has old school vibes, and it reminds me of Lancome's Climat, the old fragrance. By the way, this one, the Amouage Dia, can also remind you of Climat by Lancome, but this one also reminds me even more than Amouage Dia, and I adore this fragrance. It is also for quite a confident woman. It's for the lady who knows what she wants, who already achieved some, goals in her life. So it's quite serious, yes, serious, confident, beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous fragrance. I know it's not so popular as Delina or Delina Exclusive, but I think this is a very beautiful fragrance that you need to pay attention to if you like powdery, soft tuberose and dark, like chypre type of fragrance. So this white bottle suits it a lot, for sure. But in the bottom there is some darkness, there is some oak moss. Beautiful, beautiful fragrance, very long lasting and projecting. This one that I also love is from Bucheron, and this is Iris de Syracuse. This is another iris and a bit powdery type of fragrance. Not a bit, it's quite powdery, but powder here is very fresh, very iris. It reminds me of a bouquet of irises. It's very airy and fresh and citrusy on the top especially. There is a lot of mandarin notes here, I think, and they give the freshness to this fragrance. It's very easy to wear, it's very versatile, it's very young. You can wear it if you go to the office, you can wear it even if you are at home. You want to feel fresh and comfortable and feminine at the same way. I think it's a fragrance of a good taste, and it's extremely versatile in terms of, it doesn't matter how old are you, you can wear it from 18 to 80. It doesn't matter what you wear, even white shirt and jeans, and the runners probably. It doesn't matter how you look, what color is your hair, it will suit everyone, I guess. It doesn't last that long, the lasting power is probably average, but on my hair it lasts the whole day, and I love the trail it leaves. And even when you just move your hair and you feel that beautiful, beautiful smell, so like, it's gorgeous. I just love it. I fell in love with it. I didn't blind buy it. I liked it. I tried it in the mall. I just loved how it smelled from my skin, from the blotter, and I went and bought it online. And by the way, online you can buy it 3 times cheaper than you can buy it, of course, in the store. Now, let's say, just for example, in our stores, this fragrance is for about $290, about $300, and I bought it for $150 online. And the last but not least, and again in a white bottle, the fragrance that is absolutely unisex to me. This is American brand Amouroud, and the name of the fragrance is Lunar Vetiver. A beautiful, beautiful fragrance that was inspired by Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. My husband had this fragrance, Grey Vetiver. I gifted it to him many years ago, and he used the full bottle. And I love this fragrance on him, and I like this fragrance also on me. However, when we decided to repurchase the Grey Vetiver, and I tried it in the store, I realized that the formulation was changed and the fragrance is not that beautiful anymore. So Amouroud Lunar Vetiver reminds me a lot of the old formulation of Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver, with the only difference it has a touch of vanilla to it in the dry down, and I like it a lot. On the start they smell completely similar, you can't differ them, but probably on the dry down they are a little bit different. Also, the lasting power of this one is much better than Grey Vetiver's one. I think this fragrance is ideal for formal suits, but also it will look nice if you wear something in a more smart casual type of outfit. It will suit it perfectly. A beautifully done, very good blending, high quality, long lasting, and also quite affordable fragrance in a very nice packaging, I think, because the bottle is very heavy and the cap as well. So beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I love it. So this is all for today. I hope you liked my fragrances, and I hope some of them were new to you. I think those are not that popular fragrances that you can see in other bloggers. If you liked it, please don't forget to support me with your likes. I will highly appreciate it. If you like this type of content, please don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell as well to be notified about the new videos. Please let me know in the comments down below what is your list of niche spring fragrances that you plan to wear during this 2021. And if you're curious and you want to see what other bottles I have in my collection, please don't forget to visit my Instagram page. I post the pictures of my bottles there. I wish you to have a great weekend, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.